Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hey, it's Robert J. Moore, Next Level.
Hi there, it's Katherine Norland. I am an actress at Dhar Mann Studios.
And I'm Robert J. Moore. Everybody already knows me. Today, I got this very special guest on today, Katherine Norland. She's been seen in Dhar Mann. She's been seen in different shows out in the world. Actually, she has a lot of little books out there, too. And she's on YouTube. If you catch her on YouTube, you might even get to say hi to her once in a while. It is actually pretty busy on YouTube. It's really glowing, eh?
Yeah, when I started making YouTube videos, I only had 34 followers, but I just kept making YouTube videos. I had all this knowledge and advice, these things that I had been through in life. And I was like, you know what? I bet someone else might be dealing with this same problem too. And like anyone, my initial YouTube videos were pretty terrible. They have to have the right mindset. They also have to have the right skill set, and they have to believe that they are worthy before they'll step into it. Because you could be the best coach. You could have like the whole tactical plan laid out for them. But if they don't believe in themselves or think that they're enough or think that they're worthy, they're not even going to follow the plan, even if you laid it all out step by step, because there's something in their subconscious mind that's keeping them from actually doing what's on the list to do. So, Robert, what are some of the things that you do to deal with if someone is having they're feeling confronted about something and you feel like they're highly emotional? What are some of the helpful tools that you give people to help them through these emotional times?
It depends on the person themselves. I mean, every person is different, as you know. So when you're dealing with certain people, some people can deal with a little bit more emotion than the other. Some people don't want to talk about it. Some people feel that you can't relate. So basically you gotta look at them and say, listen, I understand. I mean, just 2 days ago, my dad died and it's been 6 years. So, I mean, like, I can understand that. I have 3 brothers that are deceased from drugs and alcohol. And I got my grandfather, my mother. It was really weird because I was talking to Ian Beckles from the Buccaneers the other day. I interviewed him. His birthday is July 20th, which is my son's birthday, but also it's my wife's death date, my mom's death date, my grandfather's death date. So where do you go with that? So it's like asking God, why you put me through rough waters? Well, your enemies can't swim. Simple, your enemies can't swim. So go through those rough waters, make sure you come back in the better end. And Eric Thomas even says it too. It's sweeter on the other side. You just got to deal with what you're dealing with at the time. So talking to the right person, even if they don't talk to me, as long as they do a journal, if they could do a journal and do certain steps to actually get it out of their system, they can put it on the balloon and send it to God if they want. It don't matter what they do with it.
Yeah, I always encourage my coaching clients to journal as well. Sometimes that you have a hard time forgiving someone, writing that person a letter of all the things they did wrong to you, and even just writing it, just putting it in the fireplace afterwards and burning it up.
But without blame. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Blame. See, I've done a lot of those in the past when I was actually an alcoholic back then, 20 years ago. And I would put the blame on people. And the guy that was walking me through things at AA, he says, why are you blaming people? I said, blaming. I said, I'm just getting it out of my system. He goes, but you're blaming them for the problem that you're having. Just put the blame back. You take responsibility.
A lot of people, I mean, they've been through horrendous things have been done to them, and it's easy to have that mindset. Like if you're a victim, to stay in that victimhood. Like, you don't know what they did to me. And as difficult as it may be, yes, they did something to you, but if you keep reliving it every single day, then you're the one torturing yourself daily, not that person. What that person did is already done, but then you keep reliving it and hurt by it. People don't realize that the number one thing I think that holds us back from forgiveness is that whole feeling like, gosh, what is the word for it? Where you feel like you're justified in feeling hurt and blaming them. You get offended. Getting the spirit of offense just can hold you hostage.
And then become defensive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've been there.
And there's something. Myself. And then there's something about, and I love what you said about taking responsibility, because that's such a huge thing that a lot of people aren't willing to do, especially if they say, I'm not responsible for what this person did to me, which is true, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. And your response to what's been done to you can make or break your life or your future. Now, you could have two people, like, for instance, you were incarcerated, correct?
Yeah, 17 years.
You could have two people in that same situation, and one will just go on to destroy their life when they get out and say, but you don't know what I've been through. I was incarcerated for 17 years. Then you have someone like you who can take that same situation and turn it into, like, I'm using that as my fuel. It's like that little poem that's
like, I don't shy back. I don't hold back and tell people, hey, listen, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. No, I did it. I mean, look up the wall. I got Forbes magazine. I got my documentary right there now. I got the Guinness World Record. I just received another one the other day with, like I was telling you, holy cow, it was Forbes Awards they gave me for the legacy coach. I couldn't believe it. I said, I'm a legacy? You call me legacy? I said, Forbes did, of all things.
Awesome.
I guess I've been doing this long enough, I guess. I deserve it.
Yeah. You know, and if you keep at it, really your history, like some of your viewers right now may be watching this saying, but I've been through this and I'm not qualified and I'm not good enough. And it's really, you have to understand it. It's God who qualifies you. Yes, in the real world system, man may not say, you can have a job here because you have a record, but in God's economy and in God's kingdom, that's all irrelevant. Like, our past cannot disqualify us.
It took me 11 years to get a pardon. The weirdest thing is, though, the day I got it, I was actually on my way to work, and there was an envelope on the back of my car. The back of my car, not the front, the back. I'm thinking, well, there's a little one on there, and I said, okay, what's this? Open up, and then I couldn't start the car. I was like, wow. I was shaking so bad. I was like, wow. I mean, I was so excited. I had tears coming in my eyes. I bawled like a baby. I was so excited.
Wow.
I got a new life now. What am I going to do with it?
Exactly. And I think that's the choice everyone who's watching this has every single day, no matter where you've come from, no matter what your past is. Every day is a new day. This is a new life. What am I going to do with it? Whatever happened yesterday, we just keep going. We move on, and we decide each day what our life is going to be.
So true, because if you hold on to the past, you're not going to move forward. It's like another guy I talked to today. All he cared about was money. Well, I got to make money. I got bills. I got this. I got that. But where's your passion?
Yeah.
I need you to focus on your passion. Forget the money. Let's work on the passion. You put that passion out there, that money will follow. But forget the money. Forget the bills. Forget the money. You're going to get in debt. So what?
Oh my goodness. That's such a great lesson. That's such a great lesson. If you're not pursuing something that you love, when you're pursuing something that you love and you're passionate about, you have this fire, you have this zeal, you're attracting other wonderful things to you. When you do something for just a paycheck, you're not fulfilled, you don't like it, you end up sabotaging yourself. I remember when I was a day trader, that was like the most awful, like the third most awful job.
I had that.
I would rather just, I was up every morning at 6:30 in the morning, looking at the charts and the candlesticks and when do I get in? When do I get out? How many? And it was just stress. And I kept thinking, I would rather just be writing a poem right now. And, you know, I published 3 poetry books. It wasn't for me. Doing something for the money wasn't for me. So finding a way, you know, if you have gifts and talents that you love, that you're passionate about, finding a way to monetize them is, you know, really it will come. Like I love speaking. So, but I also love poetry. So combining the two, like I was able to do a poem the other night at an event, combining the speaking and, you know, putting in things that you love, even it may sound silly, but like if you're a juggler, find ways to work that into other things you do. No matter how different it is, there's so many niches out there. And I think some of the most standout people on YouTube or entertainers are people that combine that thing that makes money with that thing that's your love and passion. And you're going to be so unique when you do that.
Stop putting yourself on the pedestal with everybody else and work your own world too. That's the difference. A lot of people say, oh, they're doing better than me. Who cares? You're not in competition.
Yeah.
I mean, like, here's one thing I see all the time. People that aren't happy, and they're entrepreneurs. If you're not happy doing it as an entrepreneur, you're working a 9-to-5 job again.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. If you want to switch that and build something out of it, learn how to automate things. You got two people right here that can help you do things. We can help you. We can help you bring yourself out of you and look at the real you and help you out.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think a lot of people, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we can get stuck. There's this piece of information and we don't, like, we keep studying all these YouTube videos, sometimes you just have to like give the reins up to someone else, pay someone, delegate, do something, stay in your wheelhouse, stay in the place that's your creative genius and farm out. And when you're a solopreneur, it's easy to go, well, I don't have enough money coming in to pay someone, but it's your sanity. It's moving the needle. If you've been stuck on the same problem for more than a couple months, you need to get help. You need to pay for help because you want to get moving into the cash flow as fast as possible. And if you see that there's blocks in the way, it's your job to be just swiping away the blocks every time you can.
Do you remember your first client as a coach?
I feel like I have been coaching so long that I didn't charge people. And then I started charging people during COVID. So I've had clients most of my life that I didn't charge. It was just like my service back to humanity.
It's the same way. I was a therapist and a drug and alcohol counselor, and I was wearing my heart in my sleeve.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like, well, your bills are coming in, and this person's better, but bills are coming in. And then that's when I said, okay, listen, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Maybe this isn't where I should be. I got to be a little tougher. So I went into the coaching field like I am right now. The very first one, I went to this big event. It was gorgeous, man. Everybody was hip hop and boom, man. There was a guy beside me. Smelled like he was at a farm. He was working with farm animals. It didn't smell very good. I mean, it was, that smell, like the dirty old smell. I didn't know who he was. I said, okay, this looks like it could be my first client, even if it's $5 an hour. You know what I mean? Just to get that, get the ball moving. We talked. I got him. We got on Facebook. He called me up afterwards and said, did you add me to Facebook? I said, no. He goes, go add me to Facebook. He wanted to prove a point to something. So I went out and added him to Facebook. I said, oh, you're not going to be my client after all. He goes, no. He says, but if you want, and who he was the operations manager of Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich, the operations manager. He was helping a friend move that day, and he didn't have time to run home to shower. And
Interesting.
And it's like, I judged that book by its cover, right? And it was awful because it really hit me in the face. And then he wanted like $1,400 up front. I had $2,100 to my name. I had the car payment coming out. I had mortgage coming out. I said, what am I going to do? He says, where do you want to be in 2 weeks? He says, I'm going to teach you how to draw out your passion and get out there and get that money. You'll pay that money off. He says, if you don't, at least you tried hard.
Yeah.
He says, if you pay that off, you're not going to have money to do this anyways. So I gave him the $1,400 that day, and I don't regret it at all. I made like $17,000 in 2 weeks.
Ah, incredible.
It was crazy, yeah.
Sometimes it is about that leap of faith, and it's hard to see, like when we're just focused on in the natural, like maybe you have clients who are on a fixed income and they think I only have this coming in each month. They don't see all the stuff that God may be orchestrating in the spirit realm. Just like a simple example, just this week, I've been trying to like really pare it down on a budget since my husband lost his job and hasn't found a new one yet. And I was like, I want to go to this seminar. And it was however many $100. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I paid to go to the seminar, and that same day, someone hired me to do a voiceover, and the voiceover paid the amount that I needed for the seminar.
Nice.
So, you know, if I would look at my bank account, I'd be like, no, we need this for the bills. We need this for the mortgage. But then, you know, God has a way of orchestrating what he wants to just be fulfilled and have all your needs met. So it's really that walk by faith, really, you know, getting in tune with God, keeping your prayer life up, and just moving when God says move, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you think you don't have the finances, because he already has the answer before you even do the thing. The answer is already in the works, on its way to you. I've seen this happen so many times in my life where I felt led to give someone money, but I was like, no, Lord, I can't. I need that for something. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to be obedient. I do it. I go home. There's a check in the mail that I didn't know was coming.
Hey, I got an example of that. I was going to get my car. I was up north. I didn't have the money to get my car done. I literally had no money at all in my bank account. And I was at Canadian Tire, and I said, listen, okay, no problem. Let's do the car. I'll have 4 tires to go along with that on the car, brand new tires, and I'll be back in 3 hours. I went all the way up north, hour and a half drive up there. I don't know why I said that. I felt really weird saying that. I went up north, and then all of a sudden I opened the account there, and I went down, and I looked at my mailbox. I drove all the way back down, and then I had a credit card for 20 grand. I said, how the heck did that happen? And I don't like to question things when it comes to that stuff, because it's it's like you're ungrateful if you do that. You know, that's how I feel. I feel ungrateful. And I've had people come up to me before, hey, Robert, like, why are you paying for that? Well, I need to survive. They said, no, don't worry about it. And then they get me to point over there, they get me to look over there, and all of a sudden they paid for it and they walk away. I've never met them before in my life.
Wow.
But I do that for so many people that I see living on the streets in COVID time. People were freaking. Go in the hotel, grab yourself a week in the hotel, or grab some, grab a meal or whatever. I'm not giving you money.
Yeah.
Right? But I will give you a place to stay for a week, and I'll give you enough food to help you out through that week. And you got warm, you got shower, you got TV, you got bed.
So I think there's a couple things at play here that we're talking about. One is really following that divine inspiration to go when you feel like, I think I'm supposed to go here or do this or pay this for this. Even if you feel like you don't make sense, it doesn't make sense. You do it. You follow that divine inspiration. And then also what you put out into the world comes back to you. You know, you do reap what you sow. So you've done these things for people, and then people have done these things for you. And so there's this back and forth circle of always, getting back what you put out into the world.
It's so great. True. I mean, if you're putting something out there and you're not asking for anything in return, and by rights, if you're in your mind thinking, well, what am I going to get in return? What am I getting in return? You're not going to get anything in return on that way. It's just going to hurt yourself. If you're doing that good suggestion, okay, say my daughter's doing driving classes right now. She can't afford it. So my daughter, I got to pay for it. The neighbor the other day, I don't know them very well. They were out. They have 2 small children. She actually needed some money to help her out. Her husband lost a job, so I went over a couple $100. Here, take it. It's not a big deal. I don't want the money back. What I want is the respect, I said.
Yeah.
They'll come over to ask me once in a while if I want to help her on the lawn. I said, I've been so busy, I can't even cut the grass. The little guy come over and cut the grass for me. It's the times are tough at times. You just get busy. Well, with acting and doing books and over voiceover and that, I mean, you just get swamped.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great example, because I think we all have different gifts, and some people have the gift of service, and so some just all our different gifts, and the fact that we can have this unity and barter with each other. You may have finances, they may have more time. Yeah. Some of us entrepreneurs are so busy with juggling so many balls. It's so wonderful that someone comes over and mows our lawn. And I think for those entrepreneurs who are listening to this, you may have a service that other people need. It's easy for you to maybe do numbers, to do spreadsheets, to do someone's taxes, to mow lawns. Sometimes you're afraid to ask people for the sale, or you're afraid to promote your business. And what you've got to understand is what you are is actually an answer to someone's prayers. Just like Robert didn't have time to mow the lawn if they hadn't asked. So as entrepreneurs, you have to get really comfortable with putting your services out there and not look at it like, ooh, I don't want to market myself. I don't want to be salesy. Because if what you have is going to help improve someone's life, then it is your duty to make your offers and to put them out there so you can help solve other people's problems. And we have to get out of this ooh, I don't want to be salesy. When I wrote my book, You Are Worthy, and my online course, You Are Worthy, I know this solves a problem for people I help people stop building other people's dreams and sabotaging their own so they can step into their calling and live their purpose with confidence. So many years I was on the back burner helping everyone else follow their dreams, thinking I wasn't worthy of mine. But if God gave you that dream and he put that desire in your heart, not only are you worthy of it, you're able and capable and chosen to do that thing. So you have to, stop hiding and take that leap of faith into that future that you want to have.
It's really strange because when I first started my coaching, not the therapy and all that, but the coaching part of it, it was really weird because I went to an event and I talked to the guy that was holding the event. And he says, Robert, would you like to get on stage today? Red or blue? I was new to talking on stages. I said, oh, man, what am I going to talk about? So he said, I'll give you 5 minutes. How's that? Just take 5 minutes. Just get up there and feel good about it.
Yeah.
Best part that I got up there and did, Bob Proctor was one and Les Brown was the other. I was sandwiched in between.
Ah, wow.
And that there, bro, I didn't know. I didn't even know they were there. Right? I didn't know at all. Bob Proctor got up and he says, I don't like speaking after Robert. They go, why? I'm feeling like, did I do something wrong here? He goes, no, it's not that. It's the fact that I don't like speaking after good speakers. Now I really got to try harder. And that made me, wow, this Bob Proctor said that about me. All of a sudden, everybody in the room was like, Robert's at this level now. They put me on some kind of pedestal, which I was not on, but I stayed at that top level. And then I started teaching Les Brown's daughter. I started meeting up with Carl Wilson, all these big, huge names.
What would you say, Robert, for those of you those of people who might be watching that want to do speaking, what was one of your secrets to getting over that fear? And instead of saying no, you could have said no to that 5 minutes. What was it that gave you the courage to go up there and do that?
One of the persons that were there told me one valuable lesson. I'm not speaking for me. I'm speaking for them.
Exactly.
I'm speaking for the audience and giving them, the audience, not what they want to hear, but what it could be potentially what they need to hear. Saving one person, I might not save anybody. But the point is, I'm not getting up there, oh, look at me, I did this, I did this, I did that. It's not about that. It's about sharing, experience, strength, and hope.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important lesson for those of you listening who have this desire to speak, but you're scared to. A lot of times we are scared because we're focusing on ourselves. What will people think of me? What if I mess up? What if I'm not good? What if I forget what I'm going to say? What if I don't make, and then that's all inward focus. But the moment you can turn the point of view and say, what do these people need? How can I bless them? How can I encourage them? And you put your focus on the audience, that really takes a lot of the pressure off. If you're just speaking from the heart and I just want to serve you, and you look at it just like you're talking to your best buddy or your child, giving them advice that they need because you love them, that takes so much pressure off you. And I also think that we also need to start saying yes before we're ready. So many times, especially women, guys aren't like this as much. Statistically, a woman will not apply for a job if she looks at the listing and she's not 100% qualified. But they found that guys will apply for the job even if they're only about 70% qualified for the job. So for some reason, women think we have to be everything perfectly before we do it. But no matter who you are, I would say you have to jump before you're ready, and you have to trust that you're either going to learn to fly as you jump off, or you're going to build your wings along the way, or that God is going to catch you. But it's that if we're staying in our comfort zone, we're not growing. And that's what we need to do. We need to take that leap out of it and trust we're going to grow along the way. We're going to figure it out. And sometimes we treat like, let's say we mess up. Let's say you were horrible that 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. People will probably forget it in the next day or two. And you may feel humiliated, but honestly, people won't even remember. They'll just be like, yeah, he wasn't that great. And we think it's like the end of our career, and it's not. It's just like, okay, well, I tried that. It didn't work. Let me try it different next time. Let me see what I could have learned from that. How could I do better? And constantly reassessing. It's like, was it Edison that said, I didn't fail like 999 times. I just found 9 ways that making the light bulb didn't work. Yeah. Once you got to 1,000, now I get how to make the light bulb. It's the same with us. It's like, I don't know where this fear of failure comes, because everybody fails. And as adults, we give up so much easier than children. If you think about it, when you're a child, you've got many, we're learning how to walk. Like the first 50 times they fell down, you didn't go, oh, I guess they're not meant to be a walker. They're, guess you're meant to crawl.
52.
Yeah, I guess you're just meant to crawl.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes we do that as adults. We're like, well, I failed this, failed that. We'll keep failing. The most successful people fail forward faster. You just keep failing faster and going forward. And what can I learn from this? What can I decipher to do better next time? And that's all entrepreneurship is failing forward faster. Happening in the background, kids are going to come and interrupt. Things are going to happen. It just, I'm to a point where it doesn't bother me when I mess up, when like stuff like this happens or whatever, because then what it is doing is like the people that you're talking to, the people that are watching, they're going, okay, so they're human. You don't have to have it all together, because some people are not starting their business. Some people are not going after their dreams because they think, oh, I have to have it all figured out first. I have to have the perfect background. I have to get an office with Forbes things hanging on my wall. They think, that they have to be a certain way. And I think it's really great when you can just show your humanness. I mean, I have some videos on my YouTube channel where I've got like blueberries stuck in my teeth or spinach stuck in my teeth. I have so many like coaching videos. Where I didn't put a lick of makeup on. I did one in bed in my pajamas, just because it's about the message, It's not necessarily about how perfectly and eloquently it was executed. And if you think about it, when you watch a movie, you are rooting for the underdog. You're not rooting for the person that has it all together. You're like, oh man, that person that's really trying, they keep messing up. You're like, I relate to them.
It's just amazing how people think they need to actually compete with someone else. Oh, he did this, or like, what they used to say to me? Before I started talking about that I had a pass, I wasn't talking about that at first. I thought, okay, nobody really wants to know that stuff. They'll scare them away. Next thing you know, they said, well, Robert, you wouldn't understand because you're way up there. You're on the pedestal now. All these people see you.
Right.
It wasn't a week later. I said, you know what? I did a live right on Facebook. I had like 1,800 people watching. I said, look, you guys all think I'm on pedestal. I said, next week, I got the head ex my boss coming from the UK to meet up with me in Toronto because I'm doing his book, because he finished doing 20 years in prison. I finished doing 17 years in prison because we were bad apples back then. We were misguided. And they're like, what do you mean you did that many years? I made choices that were affecting me for a long time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the right choices, but that's why I decided to tell people, now utilize my story to be the person I am today. Now they can't hold things against me by saying, well, you're an ex-crackhead or you're an ex-drunk. Well, who cares? I can make...
Well, you make such a great point, and I've seen that over and over in life. So many people think they have to be perfect, and they have to have this perfect branding. Yeah. Everything has to look like they've never had any issues in life. And that just makes people not relate to you. And it makes people feel like, well, I guess I can't do it because I'm so messed up. I have this shady past. When you tell people like, look, I haven't always been this. I haven't, I struggled I struggled with self-worth issues. That's why I wrote You Are Worthy. When I felt like I was supposed to become an actress, I couldn't even look in the mirror without crying. I had no self-esteem. Speaking to people, auditioning, that was like so far out of my realm. I used to have my mom go to the dry cleaners for me because I couldn't take rejection. I couldn't even have them say, oh, I need you to re-clean this dress because you missed a couple spots, because I was so afraid they'd be like, buzz off, we're not and then I'm having to hear no at all these auditions. No, you're too ugly, you're too short, you're too fat, I don't like your voice, your neck looks 10 years older than your face, like all this stuff that they would say, the casting directors would say to me. I feel like a lot of times we're tested in the areas where we feel like we're the weakest.
Wow, you want to talk about having nuggets. Now that is nuggets. You got two powerful people sitting there talking. I want to thank you again for sitting around and listening to what we have to say. Hopefully there's a few nuggets there that will help you along your way. And if not, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Cheers, everyone.